Welcome to OAA Now, your home for Oakland Activities Association news and information. Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OAA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina, blogger of the Dragon's Den, blogger of the Inside the OAA, and one of the hosts between Taraminas on Orion Neighborhood Television. I'd like to welcome our friends from Oxford Community Television watching us, and also those watching on YouTube. A lot of interesting news around the OA. Of course, Southfield has a new nickname, and why I think there may be some controversy surrounding that nickname, and also we have girls and boys basketball thoughts heading into the season, heading into the stretch of the regular season. So, but the big news today was not out of the OA; it's actually out of the Macomb Area Conference and also the Catholic League. Where, of course, a lot of news has been mentioned, about Scott Merchant. Of course, it was a few days ago that he was on State Champs TV show with Lori Plant, and he said that, and of course, it was confirmed that Scott Merchant, of course, he's the head football coach at Chippewa Valley, that he would leave Chippewa Valley to go coach at Warren D. LaSalle. And this late last night, it was confirmed that he decided to stay at Chippewa Valley and not go to Warren D. LaSalle. So it's a setback for one program. It's a huge get back for another program. But it describes that maybe the power in the Catholic League really is not as what it used to be. So, but it's an interesting storyline because when I watched the interview with Lori Plant and Scott Merchant, I looked at it from that perspective and thought to myself, is Scott Merchant's heart clearly at Warren D. LaSalle? Because I know he spent a lot of time in the Catholic League. Of course, he was at Birmingham Brother Rice for a long time as an assistant under Coach Al Fracassa. And he ended up getting the main gig at Chippewa Valley. He's had to go through at least 3 deaths to football players in his program. It kind of felt, and of course, I remember that story, when he woke, and then of course, to him waking up on that Saturday morning, thinking something wasn't right. And he talked to his wife, and and thought to himself, maybe not going to Warren D. LaSalle may be the best for him and his family. And I think it will be in the long haul, that because it creates that family type atmosphere. It also creates that type of a great environment, and it helps Chippewa Valley out. But it was very tough on his kids when he decided to leave Chippewa Valley to go to Warren D. LaSalle, and then now he's back in the fold. So it's gonna take some time, for Merchant to build. I think he'll have the trust back of the players, but he originally accepted the job to go to Chippewa Valley. To go to Warren D. LaSalle, and then they decided to stay at Chippewa Valley after a change of heart. So, very interesting news story out of there. Now, my thoughts, of course, I like it when coaches know deep down with their programs that they're going to have down years. Of course, Steve Emmert was one of the coaches at Oxford. He knew that his girls team was going to have a very down year this year. But he could have left. He decided to stay at Oxford. It was shocking to a lot of people he stayed. I thought he'd be gone, but he decided to stay at Oxford, and work this through. And I think that it's gonna benefit those girls in the long haul. That with Emmert still there at Oxford, I think it's gonna benefit them the most. If he's still there. Oxford's going through a turbulent mess in the boys, and they sit 2-0 in the boys. But to Merchant, you know what I mean? And what does this do with the impact, especially because Chippewa Valley Week 1 plays Orion? And that game's going to be very interesting because the key in that game is, both teams are going to have substantial losses. Of course, we know what's going on at Orion. And you look at Chippewa Valley, who they lost. Patrick Bristow, they lost Stephen Claiborne. They lost a lot of other guys into that team. And Chippewa's sub-varsity teams, not necessarily the greatest when it comes to with the program that they had this year in 2015. In 2016, it'll be interesting to see how Chippewa Valley does this season. I mean, because, Macomb Dakota is still going to be very good in that league. But it's very interesting to look at that side note with Scott Merchant. And then, of course, he had a talk on state champs with Tom Markowski. Of course, Markowski and me are not in the best terms. But you look at what happened with that decision. For Warren De La Salle, this decision now, you thought you had your coach in place. You thought you had everything ready to go. Now you got to start all over again. Now, I know there's been talks about Mike Gioni, possibility going to Warren De La Salle. I don't think he'll ever leave Macomb, Dakota. I really don't think he would. I mean, if he leaves Macomb, Dakota to go to Chippewa Valley, I think a lot of those kids are going to go with him. And it wouldn't be right to Macomb, Dakota if Mike Gioni decided to leave Macomb, Dakota to go to Warren De La Salle. Now, Warren De La Salle, of course, that's an all-boys school. And, they've had a lot of success under coach Paul Verska, who retired abruptly. Of course, they had that tough loss early to Detroit East English Village Prep. They play their games at Wayne State. They play, which is an odd agreement in my opinion because, of course, Wayne State's in Detroit, and of course, Warren De La Salle is played in Warren. So, very odd arrangement there for the Pilots. And also talk of University of Detroit Jesuit playing their games at Callahan Hall. To me, that was, I still don't understand why that would be when you have your own home basketball court. I guess that's greed, money, you know what I mean? That gets them into playing those type of games at those type of big courts, at those type of big schools. I know Birmingham Brother Rice plays their home football games at Berkeley because they don't have lights on their field. So, very interesting. But, for Merchant to decide to stay at Chippewa Valley when he could have went into the Catholic League, he could have had an opportunity to grow, opportunity to go back into the league where he started. He was very successful he was very successful at UD Jesuit as well. But you gotta look at the decision. Public schools actually do make more money, you know what I mean? But I guess for him, loyalty and heart, and commitment to the program, I think really got a hold of Merchant, and I think it's a good decision for Merchant to stay at Chippewa Valley and not test the Catholic League again, because, there's a lot of differences between public schools and private schools, of course. Warren De La Salle, this is a team that Warren De La Salle is still going to be very good. They got a tough match week 1 with Lowell, which is going to be very, very tough, especially going up against a team that's led by, of course, by their head coach Gabe Dean. It'll be tough for Warren De La Salle. For Chippewa Valley, of course, playing Orion, it'll be a very interesting matchup. I think there's going to be a lot of new faces in that game. I'm not sure the venue location yet. I've heard rumblings it's Wayne State, but I've also heard rumblings it could be Orion. But who knows? I mean, But I know for sure Orion will play Chippewa Valley week 1 in the football ranks. Now let's go to another story, of course, that has my attention. Of course, it's the in Southfield. This name, I mean, like the new name has been expected, and the new colors have been expected. But it's kind of an odd name, actually, to be honest with you. The name is, of course, we know the Southfield situation where they were going to merge with Southfield and Southfield Lathrop. We just found out the new name and the new colors are going to be, and it's the Southfield Warriors. I mean, are you kidding me? You know, it's an interesting name, but there are a lot of controversies surrounding that name, Warriors. And their colors are red, white, and blue. Not the dark blue, like the American flag blue. Interesting color choice. Very interesting color choice. The name Warriors, I know there's been a lot of controversy when it comes to the Indian tradition of it. Because of the Native American thing that's been affecting the college world. Of course, you have some Indian names like around the entire state of Michigan. I know Chippewa Valley is known as the Big Reds. Birmingham Brother Rice is the Warriors that I know. You got the name Chiefs, which is at Plymouth Canton. Also, you got there's other names around the state, that I can't go through, but the name Warriors kind of, for me, it's interesting because it doesn't add up, I mean, like, when you have a Blue Jay and a Charger, merging together to be a Warrior. It's an odd name to say. Southfield Warriors. Very odd name. I mean, that's just, it's odd. I mean, like, I don't know why the Southfield Board of Education decided to go with that name, Warriors. I really don't know why. But I wish the board over there at Southfield could have gone with the more better name than Warriors, because there's a lot of controversy surrounding Indian names. There's a lot of controversy surrounding just that name in general. I mean, you don't know what the logo's going to look like. I mean, to what I know, the students over there at Southfield and Southfield Lathrop are going to create the logo together. But that is an odd name, though, because I remember when Olympia Hills went to Blackhawks. I mean, like, I thought to myself, and the color scheme of purple and black and silver, I thought to myself, how can you merge a knight and a baron with the bird? And I'm asking myself that, what are they doing? I mean, going like, what are they doing? I mean, like, then of course Pontiac, when they went with Pontiac North and Pontiac Central, and they merged with Pontiac Central Chiefs and Pontiac Northern Huskies, they went to Phoenix, and that was odd. And then of course Royal Oak, of course, went with the Oak instead of Don Darrow and Kimball. When they were the Oaks and the Knights, they went to the Royal Oak Ravens. So, very odd name with the name Warriors, though. I mean, like, I can understand Ravens, Blackhawks, and Phoenix, but I just cannot understand the name Warriors. I just do not get it at all, how they're going to put this logo up. I would think the Board of Education have more creativity than the name Warriors. That's just my take on that. Now, when I look at the color scheme there is red, white, and blue. Like the American Pride. I do get it at some point, but I just don't understand it at some point. Because you look at Southfield, the Blue Jays were dark blue and gray. And now they're going to change, and the primary color of that school is going to be blue. Yikes. Like a regular American flag blue. Yikes. And then the red, of Southfield Lathrop, of course. The red makes a lot of sense. I like red as a color. I really do. But just plain blue does not feel right. And that's going to be their primary color. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know, when you look at Southfield, when you look at the the name, the colors. I understand the colors though, because the blue and the red were Southfield was the blue, Lathrop was the red, and now you merge them together. It's sort of like what they did at Lapeer when they merged Lapeer East, Lapeer West. Of course, Lapeer West was was dark blue, and Lapeer East was green, and they merged them together. And I kind of like the Lightning's identity, their colors. I just don't like the name. You know what I mean? That they decided to go by. I mean, I just did not like the name, Lapeer Lightning. How would you be a Lightning? How? I mean, is it a thunderstorm type of thing with Lapeer? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, and then of course, I do like Lapeer's color set a lot better than Southfield's, but I can understand Southfield going to the tradition, going back to the going to tradition, which gave him the blue and the red. I kind of wish black would have been a primary third color, because both teams, in a sense, do wear black. Of course, I know the red is the primary color of Southfield Community Schools. It's very similar to what at the Troy School District does with red as well. Of course, Troy Athens wears red and gold, whereas Troy wears black, gray, and there is some red in there. I mean, Rochester Community Schools, I don't think really has a primary color, because they have 3 schools, of course, Adams, Rochester, and Stony Creek. But I can understand Troy's primary color, and I can understand Southfield's primary color is red, and red is going to be on the new Southfield Warriors logo. Now, they're going to have to redo a lot of things down there at Southfield. Of course, the field's going to be renovated. Of course, the scoreboard's going to have to be upgraded. And I've been hearing rumblings that they might call their school Southfield Advanced in Tech. Are you kidding me? Why? Why would you change the name of your school to Southfield Advanced in Tech? That's terrible. That is terrible. Just stay the name Southfield. Southfield High makes a lot of sense. Not the Southfield Advanced in Tech stuff. That's too much for the information. Too much. Or just become Southfield. I mean, the name Warriors I don't like. I don't like it name. I think it's too original. Maybe go with like a new name, or people are not used to, like Griffins. I think it would have made a lot of sense. The color scheme, I like the red. I just don't like the blue, because if it was dark blue, I would understand. But instead, what I've been hearing, they're going to go plain blue, which is yikes. I mean, it just don't add up, in my opinion. When you go with go with blue and red. If it was dark blue, it makes a lot of sense. That's my thoughts on the new Southfield Warriors. Of course, they will merge after the school year. I'm not sure what type of any ceremonies they're going to do. Unlike what they did at Bloomfield Hills when Gloucester and Andover decided to merge after a football game. When they decided to merge, they did a unity ceremony, I guess, and to celebrate the unity of the new Bloomfield Hills High School. A lot of questions. We come back, we're going to talk basketball here on OAA Now.
We own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbors
is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Welcome back to OAA NOW. I'm Sammy Terramina here. We've got a lot of boys basketball, a lot of league games that were played yesterday. No doubt, probably the big one in the league was Clarkson taking on Rochester Adams. Clarkson ended up winning that game 57 to 46. It was the difference in that game with Clarkson though, and that game with Adams was that third quarter because Adams had Clarkson. They were leading him at halftime, and then Clarkson ended up pulling away late. Once again, it's a huge win for Dan Fife. When you look at Clarkson, I mean, and they had a nice win the other night against Detroit Renaissance, which Detroit Renaissance, a team I expect to contend in that district over in Southfield. It was kind of shocking to see Clarkson the way that they're playing. They put Detroit Renaissance at 35 points total in that game. Shut down Justin Turner. They made him look bad. They really did. And you got to give Clarkson their dues. You got to give them their props. You know what I mean, for what they did in that game. And they were balanced. And I think Clarkson probably is going to be balanced as they head into the district tournament. So Clarkson looks very, very good right now. They really do. And then they had that big third quarter to beat Adams, and Adams is a very good team too. They gave Adams their first loss, and it's. Let's see how Adams responds. I mean, they got a tough one next week with North Farmington. Oh my God, they took Lathrop by the mule, and they just killed him. They killed him. Lathrop only scored 18 points in that game against North Farmington. That just told me that North Farmington was heartless. I think its score was 76 to 18. Yikes. Good Lord. I mean, you don't want to deal with North Farmington when they're coming off a loss, I guess. And North did lose to Clarkston on Thursday night, and it showed. It showed its ugly head when they did not. They just took them behind the woodshed and just killed them. You got to give North a lot of credit. You got to give Todd Negocian. I guess if you look at North Farmington, you look at their boys program. I mean, when they're on. I mean, they just went and took Lathrop behind the backyard of my studio here and just killed him. They just killed him. No mercy, no sympathy, nothing. Yikes. Good Lord. Good Lord have mercy. Good Lord have mercy. Southfield played Southfield Christian, lost by 3. It was a heck of a game between those two teams. Southfield's a team that like to go up and down. Southfield Christian's not bad. But it was a rivalry game. No doubt. It was a non-league game for Southfield. But you got to give a lot of credit. I mean, Southfield battled back in that game. They really did. But still, you got to give them their due. You still got to give them their fair share of props in that game. Hardy had a nice game against Christian. But they're not bad. course, the big games in the red this week, of course, you got Clarkson playing Southfield. You got Adams. You got Adams playing. You got Troy Athens playing. I don't have the schedule with me, but I know Clarkson plays Southfield. Adams plays Lathrop, and also you got North Farmington playing. Got North Farmington playing Troy Athens. Yikes! Not a lot of special matchups in the red for this weekend games. So I just think Clarkson's going to handle Southfield. Athens will get killed by North Farmington, and then Adams should have no problem with Lathrop. So I think the three top teams in that division are going to win handily this week in that game. In those games, let's go to the white. Of course, the big one in that one was West Bloomfield. They knocked off Oak Park. Oak Park, we don't know when those transfers are eligible. They could be eligible next week. But it just proves West Bloomfield is the class of the white division. You know, they beat Avondale, which Avondale almost came back and won that game. And then of course you have West Bloomfield, who's rolling right now. Of course, this is a very good West Bloomfield team that Jeremy Dennis had. If you just imagine they had those two Nigerian transfers and Billy Thomas, yikes. But you got to give West Bloomfield credit. You know, Bloomfield Hills and Troy played earlier last week, so they were supposed to play this week, but they didn't play. Also, you had Avondale and Pontiac, which ended up being a 12-point win for Pontiac over Avondale. Pontiac's a team likes to slow up the tempo a lot. Of course, they like to pass the ball a lot to get open shots. It's sort of like a Princeton offense that Coach Ben Kelso plays over there. But Pontiac keeps on winning. They're 8-1. They're 9-1. I mean, they are 9-1. I mean, I can just imagine when they play West Bloomfield. But that loss to Bloomfield Hills is inexcusable, though, because you look at that game, that loss is inexcusable because the way Bloomfield Hills, I think, sped them up. But you got to give Coach Mike Mariansky a lot of credit for what he did in that game. You got to give him props for what he did in that game. You know, when I look at the league, when I look at the white division, of course, it's a tough division. You know, no days off given in that league. Some big games coming up in that league. When you look at the white division, the white division is a very, very tough league. There's no doubt about it. When you look at the white, I mean, like, you got West Bloomfield, you got Avondale is a team that really bothers me. They say 0-2. You know, they really do say 0-2 in that league. And right now, the reason why they're sitting there is because they're struggling. And I mean, they're really struggling because you look at Avondale. This is a team that had a lot of expectation coming in to the season, and they're struggling because they are paying the price for because they battled back. They played well in that loss against they played well, but they ended up they got a big, and now Avondale they got to stretch it out. They got a tough one coming up. You know, they still got to play Oak Park, which is going to be very tough for them. I think they play them this Friday. And I think it's going to be a good game there. West Bloomfield plays Troy, which is going to be an interesting game there. And also Pontiac, they play some very good. I mean, like Pontiac, got to see who they got. Pontiac played Bloomfield Hills already. So, but I think it's going to be very interesting, no doubt about it. When you look at Avondale, they're an odd team to sit 0-2 because they're a well-coached team. Tim Morton's done a very nice job, and they can fix things. Bloomfield Hills plays Avondale Friday. That'll be a heck of a game. between those two teams. That'll be a heck of a game. Pontiac plays Oak Park, which I think that's going to be a good game there. And I think that Avondale, and I think I like Avondale to knock out Bloomfield Hills. I like Pontiac to beat Oak Park, and I like West Bloomfield to knock Troy off this week in the Whites. So very interesting games there. Let's go to the Gold Division. Of course, top dog in that league is Hazel Park. Knocked off won again last night against Ferndale. Groves lost to Royal Oak in a heck of a game. It went double overtime. But right now it looks like Hazel Park's in the driver's seat right now in that league. But Royal Oak's not that far behind. And then, of course, the Berkeley gets beat by Harrison. Harrison sits 2-0 for some reason. I don't know how they're sitting at 2-0 right now. I mean, they beat Ferndale, they beat Berkeley, but the Berkeley game shocked me why Harrison's sitting 2-0. They're playing better ball as of late once they get in the league play. They didn't look good against North Farmington. They really did not. But Hazel Park's looking like they're the team to beat in that division. And I think they are the team to beat in that division. Because you look at Hazel Park, Carl Bow's starting to play much better. They're starting to figure things out. I mean, I still think the three top teams in that division are Royal Oak, Groves, and but Royal Oak proved to be that they're the second place team right now. They really are. I mean, you got to look at their game, their strengths of the teams they played. Hazel Park, I think, has played a more tougher schedule than Royal Oak. But Aaron Smith's team's been battle-tested. I haven't been really impressed with Hazel Park, with them Groves at schedule at all. I really haven't. But my thoughts on the Gold Division games this week. Hazel Park should have no problem with their game this week. I think Hazel Park plays Groves this week, which I think Hazel Park will win that. I think Berkeley plays Ferndale. I think Berkeley beats them. And, of course, you got Royal Oak plays God, I can't remember the names here. It's out of my brain here. My brain's been going on and off today. But I think Royal Oak does win their game this week. So I think there's clearly three top teams in the league right now in that division. And that's what it is. Let's go to the blue now, of course. Oxford's 2-0. They beat Seaholm the other night, 72-64. Oxford, their guards, Jordan Jaden, is getting healthy. I think he's averaged about close to 30 points a game the last two games, which has been magnificent if you're a Wildcats fan. But you got to look at the top. You got to look at the competition though that they played though. Farmington. Speaking of Farmington, they did upset Rochester the other night, 47-44. Which was Rochester was playing a second game of back-to-back where they ended up losing a buzzer beater to Monroe. It was a tough one to lose, that type of game. Very difficult. But you got to look at, in that situation, where Rochester, I don't know where they're at competence-wise. They had a very good win against Orion Friday night. And then they lost to Monroe. They lost to Adams in that crosstown Friday night. They beat Orion Thursday night. Ever since that Orion game where they shot 11 threes, Rochester is 0-3. They are 0-3. And that's shocking. Maybe that game against Orion early in the season might have been. It's right now, I'd say it's probably Rochester's biggest win right now is Orion. Now, Orion, of course, speaking of the Dragons, they ended up losing to Stony Creek on a controversial officiated game. 76-71. Awful officiating by the refs there in that game. They didn't get any calls at all. And the free throw disparity of that game was 34-6. That was the total free throws. Stony Creek was 24 for 34 in that game. Are you kidding me? How dubious of officiating can that be? 34-6. It's like watching the Pistons and the Lakers. You know what? If I'm a referee in that game, I should be fired. I should not referee another Lake Orion game. If I was that crew who refereed at Stony Creek Orion game, I should not referee another Orion game. Because that's ridiculous. That they would give anything in that game. Now, Orion trailed by 16 once in that game. Came back, took the lead, but I felt like personally the officials took that game away from Orion. They did. And now Orion sits 0-2. They sit 0-2. They have no one to blame but themselves. But a lot of big games around the league this week. You look at Orion Farmington. They play. Oxford plays Stony Creek, and Rochester plays Seaholm. You look at those three games. I think Rochester bounces back to knock off Seaholm. I really do, because they're at home. Two, they managed to play much better at home, which is very interesting to say the least. But I think Rochester will beat they will beat Seaholm. Seaholm's a very good team. Seaholm's not a bad team. They put up 64 against Oxford. Of course, Oxford's not the best defensive team. But the way that Rochester's playing, they're a hot and cold team. They really are a hot and cold team. Oxford Stony Creek play on Friday as well, so that'll be a good game right there. But I just think Stony Creek's got way too many weapons. If Oxford can fight the blitzkrieg like Orion did the other night, I think Oxford's got a shot, but I don't think that they have enough firepower to beat Stony Creek. Because I think Stony Creek, at the end of the day, John Ryder, Michael Rader, John Paul Sincola, I think are going to be the difference makers in that game. But we'll see. I mean, Oxford has a great chance. Oxford's got a shot, but I don't know if the shot's that good, though, to be honest with you. Especially with how good of a team Stony Creek is. And then, of course, you got Orion and Farmington. It's a must-win game for Orion because the Dragons need this game a lot more. Farmington, of course, is like a Jekyll and Hyde team too, because Farmington's defense showed up in that game on Friday Tuesday against Rochester. They showed up, literally showed up. Lake Orion played one of their best offensive games of the year against Stony Creek. Where they basically had a great third quarter. But, like I said, the refs took that game away from them. And that's why they sit 0-2. Well, the first game when they lost to Rochester, I thought, Rochester played lights out. They played great basketball. They shot 11 threes in that game. Orion, having to withstand Stony Creek's onslaught, gave up 10 threes. Farmington has a very good three-point shooter, Malik Williams, who knocked off Rochester with a three-point shot near the end of the buzzer. This, to me, has the makings of an interesting game. If Orion plays like the way they did, I think Orion routs them. But Farmington's had games where they've went over 70 points. Farmington's a deceptive 1-7. Very good team. They got a good big in the post. Malik Williams is a very good player. And in a transfer from North Farmington. They've got a couple good players. A couple good three-point shooters. This will be an interesting game. I really do think that. End of the day, I think Lake Orion wins this game because of Farmington having to travel all the way up. Will have a huge role. I think being at home will help Orion. Now, we'll see where their mindset is heading into this game. We'll see how their confidence is. Are they going to be mad? I think they'll be mad. but we'll see where their mindset is heading into the week, heading into Friday. When we come back, we're going to talk about girls basketball here on OA Now.
Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taramina, co-host of Between Taraminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV.
Welcome back to OA Now. I'm Sammy Taramina here. Light schedule in the girls' slate on Tuesday. Of course, a lot of league games occurring back. The question is Lake Orion back? I don't know if they are back after winning 2 straight games. Lathrop is killing everybody again. Like they've always been. They made Oxford look bad, and they had a big win over Toledo Rogers, and then now they get back in the league play when they have a big one with Harrison on Friday. Harrison, of course, pretty much was the upset of the night with me. You look at the Hawks, that was a monster upset, what they did against Clarkston, because I thought Clarkston's size would have just went and beat them. You know what I mean? I thought Clarkson's size would have warmed down. And instead, Clarkson's size was neutralized by Harrison's quickness and athleticism. And you got to give Kristen Nelson and Amber Steppens a lot of credit, and also the emergence of Teddy Perkins for Coach Alan Walker. Teddy Perkins, a lot of people don't know much about this girl. I mean, she killed Stony Creek with her 3-point shooting. I think she's only a sophomore. And Perkins played a huge role in that Clarkson game, especially playing good defense against Kayla Russell, who's one of the best guards in the entire county. It was shocking to see, what happened. They gave Clarkson their first loss. And then Harrison had to come back and play back-to-back against a very good Chelsea team. And Chelsea's a very good team. And Harrison went to overtime. What happened that game was Harrison battled them to the end. And at the end of the day, you got to give Chelsea a lot of credit. You've got to give Chelsea a lot of credit for what they did against Harrison. Tough setback, but Harrison move on and get ready for Lathrop. That game's going to be huge when looking at the red. Adams, of course, plays Royal Oak Shrine, which is going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very unique game because this was a game that was supposed to be played at the Rochester Holiday Tournament, and instead it was not. But then again, they made up the game, and now they're going to play it. Of course, Royal Oak Shrine's a team that they're very good. I mean, they're not bad. They're a little down, but it'll be an interesting matchup for Adams because of the lack of interior that Adams has. But when I look at the Highlanders, Adams, though, this is a team that needs to win in the worst way possible. I think they could get it, but they gotta play well, to get that. They gotta play very well. And, they're gonna be off on Thursday as well. So Adams is a team that they're not gonna play a league game, not yet. But when they'll get back into things, of course, they have a big one coming up in a few weeks. They still got to play Orion and Harrison, which is going to be tough games for Adams. It's going to be very tough games for them. When I look at Clarkston and Stony, that's going to be a heck of a game because Stony Creek has not played in a few days. They've gotten healthier. Should be a good matchup for them against Clarkston. I think when I look at the matchups, the big matchups are going to be if Allie Voss can be a problem nightmare for Clarkston, it could be a long night for the Wolves because I think that's the key. If Allie Voss can play very well for Stony Creek against Clarkson, I think Stony Creek can beat Clarkson. But I think Clarkson's going to use their size. They're going to use Lukenbach. They're going to use them. They're going to use Nicholson. They're going to use. I mean, they'll use a lot, and the role players have played much better. So I think that game is going to be very, very tough. It's going to be very difficult. I think when you look at that game, I think Clarkson wins that game at Stony. I really do. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough chore. But when I look at the game here, Kayla Gazinski, I don't know if she can guard Lukenbach straight up. And then, of course, you have the emerge. You have Courtney Elkhart, Emily Elkhart. You have Emily Solik. You got Emily Elkhart. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. So I think Clarkson goes into Stony and beats him. I really do. My thoughts on the Red. I still think Lathrop's going to beat Harrison. I think Harrison's going to have their first loss of the season. When I look at the blue division, of course the two top teams have already played, Southfield and Seaholm, each other, where Southfield won that game. As I said, Southfield machine's going to probably be 20-0. They'll roll. They'll be 20-0. No, they won't be 20-0 actually, because they got to play late. I think it'll be 19-1. 19-1 is where I see Southfield. They are getting ready for that big game against Lathrop at the end of the month. That's going to be a monstrous game, because we'll see where Southfield's at when they play Lathrop. But when you look at Southfield, they're rolling everybody in the league, including that big monster win over Seaholm. I look at the Maples, though. Seaholm has an opportunity to bounce back. I know Seaholm still got to play Oak Park. Oak Park's a team that has been playing very well when they get in the league play. They've been playing better. End of the day, though, I just think that I think Southfield, Oak Park are the two top teams. But what has gone wrong with Avondale, though? They get crushed 66-26 by Groves. Groves is not that good, to be honest with you. But maybe Avondale's not that good either, because besides Addie Salatari, Melissa Smith, Toya Golden, Brooke Blanchard's not that good of a guard. They've got a lot of issues. Darius Whiteside's team's got a lot of problems. He does. He truly does. His team truly does. And I think it's going to continue here when they get in the rest of the season. I don't see a game where they could win. Even those two Pontiac games that they have to play are no gimme games. That's my thought on Avondale. It wouldn't surprise me, because Pontiac's improving as a team, whereas Avondale is regressing. It's a struggle. It really is a struggle over there at Avondale in the girls' program. It really is. Oak Park, they're starting to get back in the thick of it. Rochester, of course, is still injury road. But I just think there's nobody in that league going to touch Southfield. Not even Seaholm. And Seaholm's got to go to Southfield. That ain't going to be pretty. That really ain't going to be pretty. Gold division, of course, when I look at the gold, Hazel Park, they had a nice win the other night over Ferndale University. Ferndale University is not that good in girls basketball as they are in boys basketball. Boys basketball is a whole other story. But Hazel Park rolled the other night over Ferndale University because Trinity Benton returned in that game, and she was a force. She really was a force in that game. And then you look at Groves. Of course, we mentioned them already. Steamrolling past Avondale, 66-26. Rough game. Very rough game, at least for them. A lot of questions, though. A lot of questions. when I look at this division. Of course, Groves, they sit oddly enough at 2-0. Of course, Berkeley, Troy, Athens. Athens, of course, stunning Berkeley the other night. I mean, I'm still stunned that Athens would go in there and beat Berkeley on the way they did. Huge win for Stacey Clump's team. I said before the season that Athens was a team that could surprise me. They had a bad start. When they get in the league play, they sit 2-0. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And now they're tied with Groves for the division lead. No, Groves is actually 3-0, whereas Athens and Berkeley are both 2-1. They're gained down. Groves ain't that good. Besides Shea Carter, they really don't have much. I mean, I'm not high on a couple of their players at Groves. I really am not. But the standings are what they are. Of course, Groves still has to play Berkeley, and they've already played Troy Athens and beat them. But Groves Berkeley, that'll be a heck of a game. I think Berkeley wins that game though over Groves because I don't think Groves' interior is that good. I really don't think their interior is really that good. That's just my thought on that. I think Pontiac, it wouldn't surprise me if they improve. It wouldn't surprise me. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the gold division. And then last but not least, the white division. You look at that league, the white pretty much, North Farmington's in command of that division. They got Orion coming up Thursday. It's a game Orion needs. I don't know if the Dragons can win that game, though, against North Farmington. I really don't know. It's going to come down to the health of Evan Wishmeyer. She apparently got hurt against Brandon Thursday night. On Tuesday night, finger injury, very similar to Keith Benson. I think she'll play, but this Lake Orion team's been injury riddled. North Farmington's a very good team. They'll press, they'll trap. End of the day, I just think that even though I would like Orion to win this game, I don't know if Orion will win this game on Thursday against North Farmington. I really don't know. Because North Farmington's a very good team. They've had a week to prepare. Kira Crockett's been playing well. Samantha Cheney's been playing very well. They beat Bloomfield Hills the other night, made Bloomfield Hills look very bad. And then they made West Bloomfield look like applesauce. And West Bloomfield's a pretty good team too. And then West Bloomfield, of course, they shocked Orion. But I still think when you look, and then of course Royal Oak is not very good, despite the fact they have some good players in Samantha Potter, who I think is going to be a very good freshman this year. Not the extent of Novak, but Potter's going to be a good player. There's no doubt about that. But end of the day, I just think that end of the day, I don't know if Orion can knock off North Farmington. I really don't know if they can or not. Also you have Troy, of course. Troy plays Bloomfield Hills. That's going to be interesting. I think Bloomfield Hills whips Troy pretty bad. No, West Bloomfield plays Troy. Sorry, and then Bloomfield Hills will play Royal Oak. Bloomfield Hills should have no problem with Royal Oak because Bloomfield Hills has got no. Because Royal Oak's got no answer for Sape. They do. They don't have an answer for Sape. And then you have and then of course West Bloomfield Troy. This should be a bounce back win for Zach Hilvers and his crew against the interesting Troy team. Troy, of course, they're scrappy defensively, but there's times they just don't look good at all. There's times they didn't look good on Friday against Orion. But we'll see what happens. Heading in the week for girls basketball. We'll see what happens heading into the season. We'll see what happens. All right, now, everybody, I'm signing off here. Final thoughts, of course. You You can find my blog at Inside the OAA. We'll talk about the Southfield Warrior name change. Very interesting name. Also, my thoughts on Scott Merchant going back to Chippewa Valley and what it'll impact in that game with Orion. I think it won't impact that game much at all. And now he's back there. And also some boys girls basketball rankings and picks heading in the week. 3 will be on the blog. So very interesting dynamics. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm Sammy Timmy signing off here for OA Now. Good night. God bless all.
OAA Now is produced at Orion Neighborhood Television, Lake Orion's community media outlet. To learn more about ONTV, visit our website at www.orionontv.org or call us at 248-393-1060.